Yeah, now I see that you're recording again, Medea.
Yeah, I stopped first and this is the second now.
Okay. So yes, so after selecting special ads category, we check our budget, type in $50. There is a chance we have something that has an ad set budget. In that case, this would be disabled. It would be looking like this. If that happens, if you find that, just enable it by switching on and changing this to $50. And this will take care of it. The next thing I need you to double check is this button up here. This button toggles on your campaign. For now, because we are in training, I want you all to publish your campaign on off so that I can actually double check them, because I have to look for compliance, for any errors there might be in. Therefore, we are toggling this off for now. So this on our campaign level, which is the top level here, is the changes we needed. Now we can go into our ad set level. The ad set shows you a lot more things that currently we don't need. Basically, we could target different things of reactions in here, which we don't need because we always send people to a website. So it will always have website selected here, and we do not mess with that.
Mia raised the hand. Sorry. I think we missed it.
Sure. Feel free.
Yeah, hi, sorry. So, my email link is apparently expired. I just tried to log in and catch up with everything because I didn't realize we were supposed to do it at the same time as you.
Oh,
And is it possible to resend the email and I'll quickly catch up to you?
yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. I'm just messaging our admin. There we go. She should be able to handle that. That's exactly why I asked her to take that on, so that after this meeting, we are all set up and ready to go. Okay, ad set level. Basically, you don't need to change anything on here. Our pixels should all be set up perfectly. We can schedule our timing. So in the beginning, there is no need to think about that. In the beginning, we just publish right away. Later on, after this training, I will actually train you guys about best times to publish. But for now, we just have to understand the basics of how we actually create a campaign. And this is where you actually now see the interesting part, the audience. You see right now our age, it's always set to 18 to 65 because we cannot advertise to people under 18, which is perfectly fine. And you see it is set to all genders. The location is the United States because this is where our campaign targets to. And we don't have any detailed targeting in here as well. This is how we have to keep it because this is a special ad category. Like even if I try to only target men or women here, you see I cannot do it because it says unavailable when running ads in special ad category. If we are running certain other things like some products as example, then we can do age targeting and gender targeting. And that is something that you might see in the iterations, and that will be part of a later training as well, because we will be teaching you how to see which age group actually worked best on the original campaign. And then we can actually only target that age group for your iteration, which will make your success rate a lot higher. So in the beginning now, you just leave all of this like it is. We do not need to touch it at all. So ad set level is good to go as it comes, which brings us to ad level. These are the single ads in here. We usually have anywhere between 4 and 8 ads in one ad set. We have several ad sets sometimes as well. So you might actually see 2 ad sets in here with 4 ads each. And a lot of times you will see that the ads in the ad set are actually exactly the same, We do that because that way we have double the chance to reach a good audience in Facebook. If that happens, for now, you can just choose which ad set looks better to you and iterate on that. Later on, as soon as we got you all to Mana, our software, you will actually be able to see which ad set is the more successful one, which ad is the more successful one, and then use these successful ones to actually base your decision how to iterate on it. However, there is one part we really need to pay attention here before we even start any type of iteration, and this is this page, the Facebook page that a certain ad runs on. We have a lot of different business or advertising accounts for the same client and a lot of different pages. And basically only similar topics are allowed to run on one page. So if I would advertise driving jobs and let's say dentures for seniors on the same page, then Facebook will think that we are a scam business and they will shut us down. They will basically restrict the whole page, cancel the whole page for us, cancel our ad account, and we lost this account, which has happened before, which is why we actually had to hold off with hiring from when you all sent in your resumes, because we had to sort this big mess that our accounts were out. That means we need to pay attention that it's running on the same page as the original campaign. When you copied it before, which is this, go away, which was, this is the original campaign. You can look in here and you see, okay, it is running on Shopper Adapt. Now I go in and I check my campaign, check in here, is this running on Shopper Adapt as well? Yes, it is. Perfect. This is how we want it to be. It needs to be the same page as the original. Very important, because Facebook should copy it on the same page, but sometimes it doesn't, and there's no rhyme or reason why it does it. So really,
is this Shopper Adapt?
That is one of our Facebook pages.
Oh, okay.
So
it's like placement, like where it runs, or like of what it, like of what advertisement it is, or
well, we have accounts that are allocated for certain topics. So if I actually show you the account name here, you can see this is the account I'm in, which is called Category Job. And this account has a certain page that is supposed to run. Like one page can only run on one account. I cannot have the same page on two accounts. The way you have to imagine this is an ad account is like a parent company. A big company might have several storefronts in different cities where it sells stuff. But in each storefront, you will only have the products of that big parent company. You will not have any products from a competition. So our page is our storefront, but our account, the ad account, is our mother company. So we might have several pages in one ad account, but we cannot have one page shared between several ad accounts. Does that make sense?
Like if there's a few companies which have job advertisements, you cannot give to each of them, you have to give each of them separate account. They cannot run on the same account. That's, did I get it correctly? Or
it's more like, let's imagine you are selling a great product. Let's imagine you have some really great art pieces that you're selling, and you will reach out to a lot of stores and you want to bring your product into a lot of stores. So your art business is our ad account. The stores are our pages. And it is better for you if this store only has your products, because that means you sell more, right? So that means as well, at one point, your art business wants to take over all of the storefronts and only has their product. That is what we are doing here. So we have our ad account, that is the main business that is producing art, and the pages are the different shops where we sell it. But we do not want, or Facebook does not allow us to have different companies' products on the same page in that sense. So that is why Shoppers Adapt will only ever have jobs on it. But a different page, like let's say Find Heritage, will only ever have senior related stuff on it. That way, Facebook believes us that we are a real business because they think it's like, why is there a business that sells dentures and jobs at the same time? Like that must be a scam, right? That is why it is separated. And that is exactly why we are always making sure that we are running on the same page, because if we accidentally use the wrong page, we might get shut down. So please make sure to double check that. But that is the first basic. So this actually brings us to the actual iteration right now. What we do is we have our ad set and we make a duplicate of this ad set. Same as with the campaign before, you just click duplicate, you select original campaign because that way the ad set is in the original campaign and you only want one copy. And this pulls it in here, great. And now we do similar to what we did before. We delete our copy and we make it ours. So you add your initials in here. Now it's my ad set. This is great because this means I own this ad set. I can more or less do whatever I want with this ad set. Within reason, of course.
And you don't need to, for yourself, you don't need to add this other initials, this MMJB, because it's already yours. That other one is just for us because we will be iterating, we will be practicing, right?
I'm not entirely sure I understand the question.
In previous ad set, you used two initial sets. It was one for us, our names, right? In my case, ME, and then MMJB, like Mana, and then your initial. The second one you're not using now.
Correct. This one only needs your initials. The MM only ever needs to be in the campaign name because that is how Mana knows this is Mana's campaign.
And we will be using it, but you don't need to use it because you're already...
I will be using it as well. So when I do campaigns, I will be using the MM tag as well because I don't want to do the management of all the campaigns right now, and it doesn't make sense for me to do either. So therefore, I just give this to our system. I'm like, I trust you, you handle it for me. But yes, so in our ad set level, we only need our initials. And later on, we will actually be learning how we can decide which of these ads are the most successful ones and which are not. But for now, we actually don't need to know that yet. For now, we just pretend that we know and we just decide, we choose the two we like the most. So let's say I think, okay, this is an annoying bug that sometimes happens. It doesn't show you the creative, but it is there. Yeah, it is there. It might happen to you. If it happens, you can just check in Edit Media and you still see the creative. Normally it should show it. Oh, now it's back. That is exactly what I mean with Facebook is very buggy. It likes to do these things. No one knows why. No one knows how to fix it either. So we roll with that. Anyway, for now, we decide on two ads we like the most. So let's say I decided that 3 and 4 are my favorites. Let's see this again as well. There we go. So 3 and 4 are my favorites, which means I don't currently need the other ads. So in my ad set that I made mine, I can delete the ads that I decided right now are not the ones I want to keep. Later on, these will be the ones that are not successful. So that makes my ad set a lot smaller already. You see right now, I only have 2 ads left, which is good. Sometimes it's only 1 ad you might have left because maybe only 1 worked well. Sometimes it might be 3 because maybe 3 worked well, which is all good. But we leave the best performers in here. These are the ads we will start iterating on now. Iterating means we will create new creative that is similar to what we are seeing here. And it means we will be altering our texts. So these are our texts. Right now they look very short, but they are longer if you click in. And we want them to look different. We need them to look fresh. So there are a few ways to do it. One of the ways is our fancy text generator. So if we wanted to do a small change to this, we could now pull this up and put that in here. So as you can see, a lot of the options here actually are really bad, which we will not be using. But if you scroll down, there are some pretty good bold fonts down here that we can be using. I like to use this one because this is actually the Facebook font that they use anyway, just in bold. So that's like a little cheat code that I use because it seems to be working well. And I can now add this in here and just replace that with a text. What I like to do as well is I like to do something very similar with keywords in here, like things that I feel convince people to click on that because it's expensive to them, which in this case is great pay and flexible hours. So I'm going to mark this as well in bold as soon as I find it again, there. And replace this. And this would be my first text iteration. And now I go into the next one. We can do the same, but we can actually have this rephrase. So let's go to ChatGPT. Right. That looks a bit funny because I have a lot of Japanese in there because I helped it do some Japanese. So, and now we just tell it to rephrase this. Let's see what it happens. Sounds good. So I basically just created a new variation of our text that I can now copy in here, which is saying the same thing we did before, just a tiny bit different. And we can just make it look different, same as before, but looks different. So it's new. People don't realize they already clicked on it. At another point, you will actually be learning how to see which one is the most successful text in Facebook, which then means as soon as you know that, that is a great tool. So it means for the first text, you will only do minor changes like some keywords in bold like here, and then you can use ChatGPT to create different variations of the same text that we know works, and just add a bit of bold lettering, or as you can see, we like these arrow emojis or our check marks to really make it look different. And we do this to all of our texts, so we do not leave any of the texts the same except of the best performer. If the best performer is really great, you can leave one variation of the best performer untouched, but the other texts, which is usually between 3 to 4 other texts, we would like you to do alterations by rephrasing, adding emojis where it fits, and adding bold lettering like this. And what we need to make sure is we want the same texts in all of our creations here. So that means I am actually going to copy these in here into the 2 that stay. So I'm copying my variations, put them in here. And I do that with all texts. So right now, because I'm lazy, I'm just deleting these, but generally we would be adding 2 more variations of this. And then we do similar things with our headlines here. You see, the text that we just did is what you see up here in our ads. Ideally, the perfect texts is similar to this. There is no arrow here where it actually asks you to click on to read more. That means the whole text is visible here, and all the information we need is visible. We try to keep the text short to not have the learn more appear up here, but even if it is, that is perfectly fine. Just try to make a mix. Some texts very short and precise, some of them a bit longer, because people have a very short attention span, so they don't want to read a lot. So that means I could put all the information I know in there and people would just not read it. So having something short usually works better. Very similar for here. As you can see, these are super short phrases, which work great. And we would just rephrase them a bit. Like this one says, looking for a job. So I could be job needed. Check these out. Something like this. How to apply could be where to find well-paid jobs. Job openings can actually, one of them could stay the same. And oh, actually that is that is the first time I actually got one of my iterations on here. So I was like, wait, that is my sentence. We would change this as well into dream cars, get paid to drive them. There we go. We copy all of these into our other ad that stays the same as well, which is, that is already the same. As you can see, it is a lot of copying in there. I still haven't found a faster way than this, unfortunately. If you ever find one, please tell me, because I would happily speed this up. But now we got our iterations in here, but we still only have 2 ads. We want a minimum of 4 ads, sometimes 5. That means we need to fill this up. That is why we duplicate these now. So we have 2, we want 4, we make 2 copies. The advantage of this is it now copied all the text work that we did before. So in the 2 copies I made, we already have our text iteration in there. So we don't need to change the text anymore. But it still has the same picture as the original. If you look in here, same picture. So this is where we actually will be adding our picture now that we created in Canva. But first things first, we have the annoying copy in here again. We take the copy out. And because we add our picture that we just made in here, we change the initials to ours. And I changed the number because having the same numbers drive me nuts. I like to have the numbers from 1 to 5 in there because I'm a bit OCD with that. It is not necessarily important, but it looks better. And it is easier to read.
Mm-hmm. You're leaving that two advertisements will stay same, right? But for the first two advertisements, you're not changing initials. You're only changing it to the ones where you're gonna use your own picture, right?
Exactly. Because these pictures are mine, and I show that I can tell that to Mana by actually having my initials there. This way, Mana knows, okay, Ina has worked on this. This is hers. And that means as well that you can really see easily in Mana if your pictures are successful or not, because you don't have to compare the original creative if they have the same initials to your creative. But you see on the first picture, like on the first glance, okay, this is my initials, this is what I have done, this is my work, and then you can see is this successful or not.
Yes, but you're also using somebody else's, like Mitch's